There's another sad day.
It is.
It's another sad day, and not only is it another sad day, this is in our home state.
Yep.
As y'all know, there was a school shooting at Apalachee. I think that's how it's pronounced.
High school in Winder.
And Winder. Winder, for all my people that don't know about Georgia per se, but Winder is about 25 miles outside of Athens, Georgia, which is UGA and Georgia Bulldogs. If y'all didn't know,
University of Georgia.
It's about 25.
Yeah.
That's kind of like out there. It's very rural out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So to have issues like this would always be considered be awkward to me. It's one thing when you have the stress of like a city school where you got Atlanta city kids and stuff like that. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But then when you go out there where these people are still behind the sticks, when the populations are a little bit lower, and then you have a situation like this, it's awkward to me. What drove the kid or what's going on in the kid's household to go and do that at the school? So I wanted to just look at these clips. There's a couple clips on this situation, And again, this hits us differently because this is home that we're looking at this, and the school incidents are. You would never told me 20 years ago that these incidents outside of Columbine would be a normal thing.
Right.
Columbine was do you know there was actually I think there was a shooting or two before Columbine, but they didn't hit the register. Columbine was the one that hit the big register, and then thereafter people start really zooming into them.
Well, there was a shooting where it was on an Indian reservation. I did a paper on this when I was in grad school about this, dealing with the brain and how there are certain things in the brain where supposedly the researchers reports and says that it can, the wiring of, one's brain that is wired, somewhat different. But it's been a stereotypical profile for a school shooter. Now it has, reduced, some, but nevertheless, the research still reports to a particular profile for an active school shooter. I was just telling him, I never thought that this is not something that we had fire drills, we had tornado drills when I was in school, but this was never something that I had to deal with when in school, and my heart just goes out to these kids. It's just, I was almost over here in tears. My eyes were watering up. It was just, I almost cried. I just, because I work with kids, that's what part of what I do, and yeah.
Now, at any moment now, Barrow County officials giving an update on that school shooting in Winder, Georgia. Right now, 4 dead, 9 injured. I want to go to Jonathan Siri in Atlanta with some new details. Jonathan.
Yeah, Charles, Barrow County Sheriff Judd Smith described this incident as an evil thing, and now we have some new video coming in, amateur mobile phone, smartphone video, showing the scene inside the school as law enforcement went in to help bring the students to safety. You can hear them calmly but sternly giving instructions to the students to form a single file line, move out of the classroom, move out of the school, but also hurrying them along, saying that they had a whole school to evacuate. We're also hearing some interviews from students talking with local media, some of them saying that they saw a favorite math teacher who had been shot lying in a pool of blood. Some of the students pulled him into a classroom, barricaded the door, tried to administer first aid, tried to apply pressure to the wound to control the bleeding, but apparently to no avail. And so they had no choice but to wait until law enforcement could arrive. Clearly a tragic situation that no one's child should have to deal with. Charles?
Let's switch it to.
Yeah. Now this young man right here.
So this is
the one that I was in tears about.
Yeah, this had snapper crying because I mean,
just
you could
vicariously
feel it through this.
Just look at his face. I mean, just the processing of this for them is still in for real time.
Oh, I started running. He started shooting like 10 times. He shot at least 10 times. And then I ran to the back of the classroom. I dived behind the desk, and my teacher had got in front of me, like he was guarding me. But, like, the gunshots were so close to me, like my ears started ringing real bad. Like the whole classroom was smoking, like, and everything. And then when he finally got out of the classroom, my teacher started barricading the door with desks and bookshelves and all that. And then I had got up. When I had got up, I had saw one of my classmates on the ground bleeding so bad.
Oh.
And then when I had moved myself to the other side of the room because the bookshelf I was hiding behind, it was right in front of the door. So I had moved to the other side.
That must be Mama behind him.
Friend. I was checking on my other friend because he got grazed in his leg. And then there was a white girl that was in front of me. She got shot in her leg and stuff. And then my other friend got shot in her stomach. And it was just so sad, stuff like that.
Not in the stomach.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a lot to process.
Poor thing.
And you're so young. You're how old?
14.
Man, he looked 10.
He does.
So much to have to process in class where you're supposed to feel safe.
Yeah.
How are you doing now? I mean, what's going through your mind?
He's holding on.
Like, it just keep replaying back in my head. I just thank God that I wasn't the one that got hit.
See.
You know, like, in the midst of all of it happening, I was just thanking God. Because, you know, he had his hands around me and stuff like that. Because I could have been the one that got hit because I was right there. He could.
See, right there.
I was right there.
Oh my God! And I want to say this real quick before you go to this. He said that God had His arms around him, and I know that has to come from parents, grandparents, other relatives, and it is so important for people to let their kids know who God is and instill that in them. Because I mean, those who knew him, I guarantee you, they were praying. Because he said he was thanking him. He may not have been doing it out loud.
They come in your classroom.
And you're seeing people get shot in front of you. That's the sad part about it. It's like, this ain't even happening. I feel like, you know, this is a movie. And that's what, you know.
The thought. What is this clip about? You wanted me to see this particular clip. What's this one about?
Yeah, they're just other students telling their stories. You know, we get to see and hear
what they're saying.
Yeah, and just I feel like it's just them being brave, you know, because even though they may want to spaz out in the moment, they know they have to keep it together.
I was scared I was going to die, to be honest. And when I heard hard lockdown, I knew it wasn't a drill.
He never really talked. He was pretty quiet. He wasn't there most times. Either he just didn't come to school or he just would skip class.
So he was in class with you in algebra class. He left. Then he came back.
They lock automatically, so you have to be let in to come back into our classroom. They almost let him in, but I'm pretty sure she saw that he had a gun, and so she backed away.
Wow.
And then he turned away, and that's when you hear like the first rounds of fire.
The red alert popped up on the screen, and then a light went off, and it sort of hit me what was happening, went into a corner. The teachers were a little bit panicked, but they held themselves. They got us in the corner.
And then everyone ducked behind us, and the teacher was like flipping tables and stuff and barricading the door.
And then that's when I texted my mom and my dad. I was like, I love you guys if anything happens.
After a while, the police came in. They like kicked down the door. They're just asking if everyone was okay.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
Oh my gosh, this is just surreal.
It's not real. It's not a real situation.
It feels like a movie.
No, and these school shootings starting to feel like the movie that's being replayed over and over and over again. This is the first time I'm hearing about a shooting like this in Georgia. Georgia's always been the one that seems to miss it.
They've had a couple of others. I saw when I was looking for a particular clip. I think I saw another shooting that they've had, but it was years and years ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw one.
I don't remember it being. I know Texas and all those other stuff, but I don't remember one in Georgia. What is this particular clip about? I know you had this on the list that you want us to look at.
Yeah, this is the young man that's talking in here. It's going to tell you that the young man who was brave enough to help out the math teacher that they talked about in the first clip. But in that other clip, the young lady was talking about the shooter actually.
Yeah.
And that's the only clip that I've heard about a student was really giving you just a tad bit of background about him. So behaviorally, she said he didn't talk much. He wasn't there much. Sometimes he'd cut class and other times he wouldn't be in school. So what does that say?
He was troubled on the inside, and he's probably dealing with a bad home life, because you don't hear them talking about the parents.
What's going? If she said he wasn't there, a lot of times he wasn't there, then that means you're absent, and the teacher's got to report that you're absent.
And then somebody that goes to your parent.
Exactly. So, wow.
Harrigan has been covering this story for us. We'll get a quick update from him. Steve?
Dana, we just watched a white van go by with 2 police escort cars. It might be a body inside there. As far as the numbers go, right now it stands at 4 people killed, 9 injured enough to be hospitalized with gunshot wounds, 30 injured totally. Some of those injured fleeing from the shooting. The shooter, a 14-year-old boy, a student here, is alive. He's in custody. He surrendered immediately.
I'm sorry.
We are hearing stories from those.
I'm saying this. I'm not to sound harsh. 4 people aren't gonna get to see. They're never gonna get married. They're never gonna see life after this day. 9 people are in the hospital. Why is the little boy still breathing?
Well, he surrendered. He wasn't firing at the police officers, so they weren't going to shoot him. I mean, He wasn't firing at them. He surrendered. That's what they said. So, but they're going to try him as an adult. That's what they said earlier.
Oh yeah, he's gonna at that age, that many people hurt and those many people.
And the
people
intent
alive,
behind the thing,
it was malice.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be. That's at the age where you get the life sentence, and then possibly Georgia does the death penalty.
So here, according to AJC, it says there have been 8 mass shootings in Georgia in less than 2 years.
Really?
I was going to say, yeah.
I've been off.
Yeah.
8?
Yep. I didn't know it was that many, but I knew I had saw another one down there.
I got to look in and see what the 8 schools were. 8
in 2 years.
So why is it that it seems like this is more focused on this particular shooting than the last 8?
I mean, we can't say. We don't know. We weren't following those stories.
Who went through this shooting, including a 12th grader who tried to help his math teacher after watching him get shot.
Oh. These kids.
Mr. Aswan did have a gunshot wound to the bottom of his chest. He was bleeding out. Some other kids got up and they dragged his body inside and closed the door. After they dragged him in, I started barricading the door with all the things I could find. Me and some other kids, we lifted up his shirt, see where the gunshot wound was, maybe try and stop it, put some pressure on it. The bleeding would not stop, so we kind of just stopped until the cops got there.
He tried to help with the shirt off his back. The sheriff here says despite the tragedy and the trauma that everyone is feeling right now, that love will prevail in this community. Right. Here's the sheriff.
Amen.
I never imagined that I would be speaking to the media in my career over something that happened today, the pure evil that happened today.
Yeah.
My heart hurts for our community, but I want to make it very clear that hate will not prevail in this county. I want that to be very clear and known. Love will prevail over what happened today. I assure you of that.
We've been watching all afternoon as parents and children are reuniting outside of that school. Many of the parents followed the shooting live, texting back and forth with their children. Dana, back to you.
Steve Harrigan, thank you, and more updates as we...
What I want to know is the motive and the parents.
Well, of course, the motive is unfolding.
Do they have any pictures of him? Because I tried to look it up at the time. There was no pictures of him.
No, they only gave a name, and that was earlier during the day.
Colt Gray, right?
Yeah. And so let me not say typically, but in the research that I've done in regards to kids who are active school, who become school shooters, you know, many of them have been bullied. Many of their homes are fragmented, meaning they may have a 2-parent home, but the parents are disconnected from the kid. It gives the kid a lot of freedom. May have their communication is just, the home is unstable. It really is.
Just had a thought of something else not related to this.
And it's a sad situation. I don't know if this kid was bullied or not, but that has been a primary factor in many of the shooters. Yeah. There could be malice from a previous teacher, But if this math teacher was a teacher that everybody liked, then there was something else going on with the kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it could be fantasies they have. You got video games, you have, movies, you have, social media, where they get stuff all twisted in their mind and they think it's going to be some happy ending, and their name may go down in big lights because they weren't paid attention to. They didn't have no friends. The home parents didn't zoom in, or maybe, but it was.
But I believe that since the boy is still alive, they're going to get. It's going to see more. It'll be more things unfold because they can actually ask him, and they're going to they're probably already at the boy's house, and they're probably already engaging with the parents. It's probably already going on.
And I wonder if he had any social media.
What's going on.
Yeah, I wonder if he had any social media because, now youth are putting things on social media as they do it, before they do it, after they do it. It's, they want the fame. And that's what I was thinking when I first started watching the clips earlier today. I was like, okay, am I going to put this on my channel? Should we do this? And I was thinking, did he put something out on? So I wonder if he put something out on this. Like, it's some steps. It's some steps that led up to this day.
Yeah.
This day just didn't happen out the blue.
No.
He had been thinking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Whether he put it in his journal, he may have had a friend or two. But if there was a call that was, and the news alleged said that there was a call made to the school earlier, the clip is out there, you have to go and find it for yourself, that they got a call saying it was going to be a school shooting that day, and other schools may also have shootings. And I'm like, but shout out to the school real quick. I know we're going to wrap this up, but shout out to the schools for the kids being prepared, for the teachers doing such a great job. And one of the kids in the clip said it, our teachers did, one, we didn't have it, but it was another clip, a young lady said, just kudos to the teachers and the police officers. She said they got up there quick, and the teachers were doing the best they could, and they were, you prepare for it, but you prepare for it as if it's not going to happen. And when it did, they showed up, and just shout out to them, and praying for the kids' peace of mind.
Y'all, we have to.
Everybody's peace of mind.
I keep saying, we're in perilous times. We're in times that are further, that according to the Bible says, and more of these things just will increase, unfortunately, and things will be bigger, and even things that we can't imagine. So we have to pray, and that's all I'm going to say on that, man. Pray for the families over there. This school shooting thing seems like it's becoming some kind of culture or way of lifestyle, and it does not need to be. So I want to say, man, y'all 2024, be more.
Talk less. We have to pray for the parents, pray for the schools, pray for pray for families, not just today, but every day.
Because that's where the foundation and the problems are coming from.
And for these kids to grow up whole and to know who God is, whether their parents are teaching them about it or not, the kids still can have a relationship with God by themselves if they choose to.
True.
And that's, really the most important thing. Because when they were in that classroom today, it was just them and the shooter.
All right, 2024.
Be more.
Talk less.
Love you guys. Bye.